Alright, we are back. And like I said before, I'm gonna create two different ones. One where we choose to go with the fox on the left side, and one where we choose to go with the girl. So right where we left off. So let's go ahead and get this started. Let's get this set up. So go ahead and escape, save, boom, sweet. All right. Then we'll leave again. And we're gonna go with Alissa, and then I'll create another one where we go with Polina. So let's get started. After closing my backpack, I ran down the steps. I scanned my surroundings through the window in the main hall. Nobody suspicious in sight. The school doors creaked. The sound was similar to the music from a thriller, a high note that comes before an intense scene. I ran around the school corner, trying not to catch anyone's attention. The smell of pastry and burnt sugar wafted from the school cafeteria. I froze when I saw a silhouette in the second floor window. It must be Polina, gliding with a bow on violin strings, with her head slightly tilted to the side. I wish I could hear the melody she played, and Polina looked more like a dark outline on a yellow sheet of a window. I dragged my feet forward. Oh, it's that guy again. Dude, this is... After analyzing this now, I think he's like the more adventurous, but it might lead to a more dangerous ending or whatever, dude, because that's terrifying. That's really terrifying to see him there. That's like a warning. That's legit a warning. I think, oh my god, I don't know what. Once I figure out how's it going, then yeah. The net on a football goal in the yard was fluttered in the wind. It hurled small white whirlwinds through the field. Somewhere nearby, an invisible tractor was humming, scaring away the crowd of cawing birds. The hum of its engine sounded like the howls of hungry beasts that chased me through the snowy desert. Alissa and her scary mask also came to mind. Right now, in the light of day, it was really hard to believe she was real. What did she say back then? At the backyard, near the hanged man. Near the hanged man. What does she mean by that?
Извините.
The silhouette turned around the corner and walked deeper into the dead end, leaving cigarette smoke in its wake. It was an adult. A teacher, maybe? And here's a forest squirrel, eating sunflower seeds. Someone from the school is probably feeding her. Interesting. I used syringe among the cigarette butts. I hope somebody just needed an insulin shot. That's just dark. I looked at the wall. There was a hanged man drawn under the black line made of resin. Someone was playing here. Something scribbled on the both sides of the man. Escape, fear, truth.
Ближе, мой сладкий.
It took me a while to realize where the sound was coming from. My eyes darted back and forth, looking at the empty cul-de-sac at the school's backyard, at the windows that reflected sunlight, at the snow. One of the snow piles started trembling, like a volcano before it erupts.
Отдай свое сердце!
Give me your heart. Oh, that's what she said. Okay. In the blink of an eye, the white crusted crumbled, and a fox jumped out of the snow. She made a gracious bow, enjoying the effect her appearance had on me. The silver of snow shined on her coat. I couldn't even imagine that thinking about girls with tails can be this. I don't know how to compare it to. What to compare it to? Something infectious? Toxically sweet?
Отпор не дал, сердце потерял.
She giggled so enthusiastically that it forced me to smile.
Да ну тебя!
I quickly rolled a ball of snow and threw it at Alissa. She tried to dodge it, but it was too late. I hit to the shoulder.
Ох ты ж! Гадкий мальчишка!
Да, вот такой я.
The fox slowly backed down, trying to arm herself.
Ты хитер, да мы хитрей! Ловок ты, да мы ловчей! Ха!
Her retribution was swift. A snowball arched its way above the snowy yard and the ravens flying in the air. I wanted to duck, but slipped and fell to my knees. And while I was getting up, I caught a huge chunk of snow with my face, and it now burned from its freezing texture. I swore for everyone to hear from disappointment.
Блять!
Using the words I heard Inspector's Gaza songs on the cassettes I hid from my parents. If Dad heard this, he would have definitely gave me a good whipping. He had a very low tolerance toward obscene words and always communicated in clean Russian.
Да ладно тебе. Не больно же совсем.
She brushed off my hair as if to show compassion, took me by the elbow and helped me to get up. Carefully, with kindness uncharacteristic for a child, she took off my glasses, blew away the snowflakes that were stuck to them, and handed them back.
Вот так. 1-1, Тоша.
Only people who were close to me called me that. And I haven't seen her real face. Didn't know her last name, what class she was from, and if she had a real tail under her coat.
Желаешь отыграться?
Мы хотели поискать Вову, помнишь? Лучше поторопиться, а то меня родители станут искать.
The fox let out a lazy yawn.
Родители. Как скучно. Да не будь ты таким занудой. Давай чуть-чуть поиграем. Все равно тебе дома тоскливо.
А ты откуда знаешь?
Тоже мне тайна. Со взрослыми да в 4 стенах тоска смертная. Всегда. У меня от стены взрослых нервный тик. Вот.
Her furry fox bro started twitching. I faked a laugh in reply because I took too long to decide if being able to move parts of her mask like that was genuinely funny or not.
Ну же, Тоша, решайся. Я же вижу, ты хочешь поиграть. Если победишь...
The fox girl got dangerously close to me and stood on her tiptoes, almost touching my face with her rough little nose. Playful fires danced deep in her eyes. Her smell was nice, berries and something else, almost too sweet for comfort. Maybe that's what independence and freedom smelled like. I mean, the kind where all you have to do in your life is to run wild and eat sweets. Her whisper poured into my ear like scalding hot water.
Если победишь, буду твоим провожатым. Поверь, мне есть что тебе показать. Найдем твоего Вову.
I felt as if a giant invisible spring bent inside me. My tummy hurt, but the sensation was somehow not exactly unpleasant. It was so weird. I just had a conversation with Paulina and now Alissa was going to drag me along with her. I felt like my mind was becoming blurry, splitting in two, like those gravestones on the TV record.
А если проиграю?
And, oh yeah.
Душу из тебя выцарапаю, неженка. Давай, скорей.
She burst out laughing, swept the snow underneath her feet with the hem of her long coat and ran toward the road which we used to come here in the morning. Her promise. That sounded almost like a threat. Hypnotized me. I bent down and scooped up some snow. I wish I had a device that could tell whether Alissa was joking or being serious. Or is there always a third option with people like her? Between her jokes, her laughter, and her hot breath on my ear, I wanted to win. To punish her for the lightness and freedom she possessed that was clearly too much for an average girl. When I, on the other hand, was possessed or rather intoxicated by the thirst for adventure, by my curiosity. Just like that time when I ate the cherries from Mom's Nalivka? and was lying down with my eyes closed while the bed was spinning underneath me. I spat and cleaned my lips. Do you want to play, little fox? Well, then let's play. I armed myself with a snowball and chased the fleeing fox girl. I saw a familiar street with wooden posts that didn't look scary anymore. They were just logs covered in snow. If I were to shout now, the guard dogs would start barking and their owners would peek out their windows. Alyssa's small silhouette was mocking me from far away, so it was useless to try hitting her with a snowball for now. A waste of ammunition. Birches, broken by the cold, peeked out along the cleared road. A giant snowball towered near one of the trees. This was probably the place where the tractor brought all the snow from the village. A whole family of foxes would fit in such a pile. No, I thought. There isn't any other fox. Alissa alone was already too much. My second morning acquaintance was running around near the edge of the forest. A stray dog with a mangy tail. She sniffed around, marked the naked blackcurrant bush, and went toward the next one.
Huh?
Alissa showed up from under the hill.
Жулька! За мной, девочка!
The dog's ears perked up. It barked in agreement and followed the girl's lead. We ran farther and farther, exchanging snowballs, laughing and stumbling. The winter forest rose in front of us, reaching for the low clouds with its treetops. We were at the edge of its shadow, bony and almost material. The fox hid behind the thick pine, clearly trying to get close to me and shove some snow under my collar. It was a good plan, but Zolka, who was running circles around her, gave away her position. I broke off a dry branch and decided to act even trickier. I put my hat on it and brought it to the side of the pine. I make her think it's my head. I bit my lip to stop myself from laughing, then jumped out from the other side and threw a point-blank snowball. Alissa probably cracked my plan right away, but still let me win 3-1. I was wounded in the leg and she got shot in the chest and the stomach, losing imaginary blood in front of my eyes. Pleading for mercy while also choking from laughter.
Молюсь, жалься! Помираю!
Да все, живи!
Спасибо, добрый рыцарь!
She pretended to bow to me, then grabbed 2 handfuls of snow and like a dying warrior, threw them away in a last-ditch effort. I dodged her attack easily, laughing uncontrollably and being mad at the same time. I finished her with 2 precise shots.
Живи, живи! Научил бы меня жить, раз умный такой.
Молчи, ты умерла уже!
Тоже мне помеха. Давай сыграем в кое-что поинтереснее.
She made a blind throw and dashed behind the trees.
1, 2, прилети, сова! 3, 4, 5, время поиграть!
I hesitantly moved toward the windfall.
6, да, 6, дыбом волчья шерсть!
I thought I saw a real tail glide across the bushes. As if on a leash, I rushed toward the intertwined branches that helped Alissa hide. I had to move them, tear them off like the spider web. Branches sprang back in my face, but it felt like they were caressing my cheeks instead of hitting them. I was sweaty, but still had a lot of stamina left. I'll make sure to catch you, little fox. Alyssa's voice wandered behind the windfall.
7, 8, бьем копытом озимь! А я тебя недооценила. Думала, ты просто мальчик.
Confident that she was behind the dry pine, I rushed to intercept her. But the local acoustics tricked me. Her voice was already echoing from the other side.
А ты зайчик! Шустренький, хорошенький!
A snowball flew at me from the shadows, whistling past my ear.
Я тебе дам, зайчик!
Дай мне зайчика, дай!
The bright fur coat of a fox flashed near a rotten stump. I rushed there, jumping over a hole in the earth.
Зайчик, выходи скорей! Мясом накорми зверей!
This fur collar that flashed from every tree was the most important thing in the world for me. My lips started trembling, as if I was hounding chasing its prey. One jump, and the fox was in my embrace, so smooth, so desirable.
Все, ты победил!
She leaned against the scratchy bark and started puffing.
Пожалуйста, давай немного отдохнем. Ты слишком быстрый, слишком сильный, лакомый слишком.
Satisfied, I put my hands on my sides, waiting for the spoils of war from the defeated girl. But what I got instead was a sly snowball on my smug face. The cunning fox ran away, roaring with laughter, but I wasn't even mad about it. I needed to catch up to Alissa, to tackle and subdue her, tear off her mask and see everything.
Бедный зайчик прыгает возле мокрых сосен. Страшно в лапы волку серому попасть. Думает о лете, прижимает уши. На небо косится, небо не видать.
The sky really did disappear under the trees. I moved using Zolko's barks as a guide since she was following her owner closely. I was catching up. The same trail I imagined at school was snaking under my feet. It turned out that running like there's no tomorrow was so easy. Faster, higher, faster. I felt like there was a well of untapped powers inside me, and I drew from it. My muscles were buzzing, my lungs felt bigger, and I felt much stronger overall. Even my vision became sharper. I saw every icy branch, every dent in the bark. Something vivid was lying near the bushes, a piece of clothing, another colorful spot to the right. Alissa was losing her clothes on the run, like shedding her skin. Excited to no end, I took off my mittens with my teeth. I'll get naked and feel the wind to the last drop. Faster! I reached out to take off my hat, to throw away everything that stopped me from running wild in this endless forest. The backpack slowed me down, so I threw it in the snow with all the pens that were inside, with all the notebooks, all of my drawings on the sidelines, and a dinosaur for Oya. Oya! Suddenly, a clear picture appeared in my mind. My sister, standing still near the window, basking in the setting sun. Her small palms are pressed against the glass, leaving marks after warming it up. She could have warmed up the whole world like that. She's looking like looking at the taiga, repeating my name.
Тоша!
I stopped, took a deep breath, and realized how rash and stupid I was, trying to undress in the middle of a forest while chasing a fox. I returned to get the backpack I dropped as if it was part of my being. Once more, I remembered how much my sister hated being left alone, how she begged me to come home faster. What kind of brother am I? Running in the same forest I used to scare my sister with. I'm having fun while she's not even allowed out of the front door. She's trapped in a cage, watching the same cartoons over and over.
Тоша!
Да, Оленька.
Тоша, а куда? Куда так скачешь, чмошник?
What? Oh, shit. From the darkness behind the pines, just like cavemen from their cave, appeared smirking Simeon with a bunch of his cronies.
Ну, здорово, Антошка! Хе-хе, не вышло сдрыснуть, да?
Очкарик в жопе Сарикна!
They surrounded me like a carnivorous pride, making me step back. The smell of sweat and tobacco attacked my nostrils. The inside of my mouth felt salty, as if I'd lick a battery.
Алиса!
The name of my companion turned into a stifled cough. The pines were swaying back and forth like solemn guardians. I was frantically looking everywhere. I dreamt of finding that fox among the trees, expected her to come to my rescue, but only the wind replied to my pleas.
Где Алиса? Что вы с ней сделали?
I shuddered upon hearing my voice. It sounded unnatural, primal, and scary.
Какая еще Алиса? У тебя чё, кукуха поехала? Не ссы, ща вмиг вылечим.
The fatso spat through the gap in his teeth and shut me so hard that I hit my back against a tree.
Ну как, полегчало?
It can't be. Did Alissa lure me into this trap? To these bastards? No. No. I can't believe this.
Глядите-ка, пацаны, а здесь он не такой борзый, как в школе.
Ага, вылитый терпиловна.
Ты, сука приезжая, не на того руку поднял.
Simeon was moving toward me, readying his fist. In that moment, the other delinquent in track pants made a loud whistle, and the hulking boy lowered his hand. It was unexpected. Seems like Barudin wasn't the leader of this gang. In reality, they were all listening to the boy who was looking like a small, carnivorous animal with very strong and sharp teeth. Probably decided to have some fun at my expense first.
Слышь, Гондон Батькович, это что ли твоя Алиса?
Only then I noticed Zolka beside my legs, trembling from the cold. Snow plastered all over her fur. The delinquent squatted in front of the dog and beckoned her with his hand.
Ой ты, батюшки. Алиса, ко мне, сучка блохастая.
The others let out nasty laughs. The dog's ear perked up and she started carefully moving closer.
Иди сюда. Иди, дам кое-чего.
Oh, you fucking dick! The dog didn't even have a chance to sniff him when this animal abuser caught it by the ear and kicked it right under the tail so hard it flew into the nearest snow pile, squealing. The whole gang burst out laughing, and my heart got encrusted in ice. Even the birds that were perched up in tree branches let out frightened caws. At the edge of my vision, I saw something flash in the illusory twilight of the sleeping forest. Or were they just the bushes moving their icy branches under the wind's influence?
Ромка, она ж больше срать не сможет. Давай теперь я. Второй раз ебану минус на минус даст плюс.
But the stray was already nowhere to be seen.
Чего ты, баран? Втолкуй его на очкарику, где его место. Только так, чтобы он понял.
Ага, за ним кофякна. Этот очкарик тебе при всем классе всек.
Да без Б.
Simeon brought a sizable signet ring up to my face with some geometric shape carved in it.
Ща, парашник, я тебе этой печаткой так заряжу, клеймо на всю жизнь останется.
Where did all my inner strength and bravery go?
Стой!
A wheezy whisper left my lips. Stop. And my head tilted forward, hitting Simeon's fist. Red sparks flew from my eyes.
Бяша, подсоби!
Simeon gave me a rush push toward the bastard with the slanting eyes, and he tripped me. I fell and hit the sharp crust of ice, and the fatso stepped on my hand, stopping me from getting up. A painful groan has left my throat.
Слыхали, как заныл? А ты случаем не педик?
I started to lose breath from anger and resentment. The pain was growing. My ear was hot and pulsating pain was shooting through it, like it was cut off and a ball of nettle was sewn in its place.
Че молчишь, Антошка? Отвечай, ты педик?
At this moment, I felt unbridled rage, the amalgamation of all my anger. Like the sprouts ink, it rose from the depths of my mind, filling all my thoughts.
Твари! Знаете, что мой отец...
Кто-то педик.
Simeon burst out laughing. This became the last straw. Fear and anger grappling inside me like mad dogs.
Он айкидо занимался, поняли? Он еще воевал. Таких, как вы, с закрытыми глазами убивает. Я только слово скажу, он...
Romka lifted up his arm, stopping my torrent of lies, and made a couple of steps forward. Simeon slowly backed off, giving me an opportunity to stand up. Did he believe me? Or was he confused by my face that was twisted by rage?
Воевал, говоришь? Мой батя тоже воевал. В Афгане. А твой?
И мой.
Да, и в каких войсках, интересно?
I stumbled. My fear got my rage by the throat and spilled its blood.
Да он фуфло гонит, Ромка. Бля, будуна.
Думал, меня так просто развести?
Did you... No.
Я тебя, сучонка, насквозь вижу.
There was a nasty smile on his face now. This didn't bode well for me.
Ты сам себе приговор подписал.
В школе тебя училка спасла, ну а теперь все. Хана тебе.
Во-во. Давай, Антошка, молись, чтобы твой труп по весне нашли мне.
Сидел бы ниже травы, был бы целочкой. Жирного стукнул — одно дело. Но про Афган пиздеть, где мой батя под пулями. Долг интернациональный. В Даште Марго, блядь. Сёма, ушатай-ка его.
The delinquents closed in on me again, and I ended up in front of Simeon. Blood was pumping in my temples. The branches were swaying back and forth as if whispering something, giving me hope. I gritted my teeth, fighting thought that I looked silly, and took a boxing stance I often saw in the movies.
Хера ты, Майк Тайсон.
This was my first ever fight. I'll remember it for the rest of my life, if I don't kick the bucket, of course. At the edge of my vision, I noticed the darkness around us writhe again as if someone was walking through it back and forth. I sensed Roma's claws grab my backpack.
Манатки, Антошка. Махаться мешает.
I was about to refuse, not wanting to cooperate with the bastard, but then he fished a butterfly knife out of his pocket with one smooth motion and put his blade to my neck after spinning it.
Слышь, Фрей, расслабься, а то больно будет.
I let out a cloud of steam instead of words. Romka pulled with all his might and my backpack ended up in his hands. Calm and relaxed. An insidious smile on his face, he looked into my backpack.
Ты от нас что-то скрываешь, да? У меня в школе какая-то крыса сменку подрезала. Ща поглядим, может, это был... Опачки!
Romka gave me a devious smile.
Так, а что это у нас здесь?
My text and notebooks fell in the snow. He was holding my backpack in one hand and something weird in his other hand. It looked like a mask. Roma lifted it high, as if showing to someone else, to someone in the treetops, in the twilight among the trees. An old bunny mask. Long, worn-out ears, barely visible nose and whiskers, mangy fur on the sides. Where did it come from? Who put it there? Simeon laughed.
Новый год уже прошел, мудила. Или ты реально поехавший?
Это не мое!
Да как не твое, В твоем портфеле лежала она.
Romka was watching the scene unfold with an evil smile on his face.
А знаешь что? Надевай.
Зачем?
Надевай, говорю. Попрыгаешь перед нами, зайчик.
Давай, давай! Или без штанов домой пойдешь на.
Anything but this. What if someone from our class will pass by?
Не надену.
Сёма, надень-ка на него.
Хе-хе.
Yasha rushed to his friend's side and took the worn-out mask from him with a buffoonish bow. Then he passed it to Simeon, who was already rubbing his hands in anticipation. I looked around the pine woods, as if waiting for help, as if as if the shadows that ride around us would take pity on me and take my side. Branches looked like arms, twisted in unusual angles. The blackened bark was their charred skin, and the darkness was the smoke they produced. I can't run. Won't get away. They'll catch me. And then...
Только учти, Сёма, если он скакать не станет, ты сам за него поскачешь.
Этот чмошник и не станет? Да погляди на него, он же дурик конченый.
Этот дурик тебе уже раз в жбан зарядил.
Ромка прав! Давай, толстый! Восстанавливай авторитетно!
Или сам у нас запрыгаешь так, что тетяндра отцепится.
Oh wow, now you begin to understand as this dude is getting bullied by these two to do their bidding. They're just using him. He must indeed be scared of Ramka. Simeon swore silently and glared at me.
Вот,
Here,
это чтобы маска хорошо налезла.
he ordered a huge portion of spit on the inside of the plastic bunny face and put it close to mine. His spit looked like a squashed spider. Ramka's face twisted. He spasmed like a beast, like he wanted to tell Simeon something, but then he suddenly stopped. Simeon was still close by, with a disgusting smirk on his face and a terrible smell coming from his mouth.
Надевай, быра! А ты урою!
The mask almost looked even more disgusting now, yet despite everything, I felt like it was a chance for salvation. It could be my second skin, if only I was to put it on. If only I put my face against its bumpy surface and the floor would glitter while the ears would come alive. I just need to put it on, and Simeon and his friends will be gone forever. For some reason, Ramka's disappointment with Simeon made me feel brave. Something was wrong in their crew, some old disagreement. I should cut this old wound open. Need to get into their heads, right into their skulls, their warm brains.
Знаешь что, Семен?
My own voice, smooth and determined, was a huge surprise. I stepped forward and calmly proclaimed,
Иди нахуй.
I felt like the world was paused for a moment, and then the time continued its flow. Simeon's pupils widened. The mask fell out of his meaty hands. He took a little while to process what was happening, with a stunned look on his face, as if he was trying to resolve a difficult math problem, and the answer he got made him mad, judging by the bulging veins up on his forehead.
О,
The others just observed the scene silently, waiting for the inevitable playback.
ты труп!
His voice made the icy snow fall from the nearby branches. It fell with a sound that resembled a melodic laugh. And then I heard whispers from the treetops, from the holes in the ground, from the forest bear caves, as if Alissa was in one of the snow piles, like a prompter in his booth, and was trying to get through to me. With no sign of fear, rather with a tinge of playful rage, that's how this low hum sounded to me. I stared into the clearing between the trees. An orange spot flashed there. A fox, an absolutely regular fox, stepped out of the bushes. I blinked in bewilderment. The animal on its tummy. The animal fell on its tummy and was staring back at me with its burning eyes. Its furry tail was sweeping snow left and right, raising the white powder.
На меня смотри, падла!
I was still looking past him at the fox that was smiling at me. She grinned with all her teeth while digging a hole in the snow pile, moving her paws as if dancing. Her sharp face was covered in snow. Her whiskers were trembling. The fox put her face to the ground. The silvery plates of her eyes were full of liquid silver. I turned my gaze to Simeon's twisted face. He was growling something intelligent. The fox backpedaled and disappeared into the darkness, and the forest released a breath of a whisper to me. I slapped my own cheek to chase away the unfamiliar voice. but the meaning of his message still lingered in my subconscious. This hint was my chance. I stared intensely at the nose of Simeon, who was almost oinking from anger, and spelled out,
Заткнись, свинья.
Simeon was paralyzed, as if the medium HAAWK hypnotized him, stripping him of his will. I felt the aftertaste of Alyssa's gum in my mouth. Berries. I felt like I pulled a card from a greasy deck and it turned out to be a trump. My brain was at its limit. Polina's words about Simeon getting worse since he moved here flashed in front of my eyes like subtitles in a movie. All the pieces fell in place. My Joker went flying into his pimply face. I was speaking slow on purpose, dragging out every syllable.
Есть у меня подозрение. Ты не просто так перевелся в новую школу. Сбежал, да? Как крыса сбежал. Потому что сверстники бывают жестокими с теми, кто не такой, как они. С теми, кто толще их, например, слабее. И ты решил издеваться над другими, как издевались над тобой.
Ooh. I saw Simeon's Adam's apple twitch, like it was a pump action rifle getting reloaded.
Ты отыгрываешься за старые обиды. Хочешь казаться тем, кем не являешься. Но знаешь, ничего не меняется по щелчку пальца. Знаешь, кем ты был?
The forest held its breath, listening in fascination.
Знаешь, кто ты есть?
Пацаны,
Biasha was about to come to his friend's aid, but Ramka stopped him, whipping out his controlling look. Biasha turned around and put his hands in his pockets.
Продолжай, Тоха.
Ramka's words ricocheted from the rough trunks.
Знаешь, кем ты будешь всегда?
Simeon looked around helplessly.
Второе имя, настоящее имя, которое дали тебе одноклассники.
откуда ты?
Ramka and Biasha looked at Simeon like he was their prey now. I even thought I saw them lick their parched lips. The wind was also full of anticipation, while dragging my scattered textbooks across the roads.
Свинья!
My thunderous scream echoed through the forest. Trees and pitfalls liked it. The echo repeated it over and over, doubling, even tripling it. Ramka grinned with all his teeth. Simeon's hands fell to his sides. His eyes became wet, and I used this advantage. Oh! I threw the strongest punch I could muster. Don't become a... Oh, wow, I got an achievement, no gain. What's the no gain for? Did I become a bully? A dick? It was much stronger than the one in school. I ran my fist into his scarred face so hard, it produced a cracking sound. His pimply cheek danced like jelly under my fist. Simeon let out a sigh and plopped on the icy road. He was touching the place where I hit him, still oblivious to what just happened and how did it come to this. While looking at him, I realized I was smiling. The bastard came back to his senses and threw himself at me with his fist twisted in anger. But I dodged his charge quite easily after the great practice I had while playing with Alissa. He fell in shit. He fell into the snow, landed right on a pile of dog feces. This made him squeal in agony.
Ай, красава, Тоха! Думал, ты сосунок, а он как жердяй уделал.
Simeon started sobbing after he realized the direness of his situation.
Сука! Че я бабушке теперь скажу? Она меня убьет, когда увидит.
Чего ты там скулишь? Тебя с параши не слышно.
Simeon's futile attempts at cleaning his coat caused a fit of giddiness for Biasha. I also smiled, angrily twisted my lips.
Мастёвина!
А ну вставай и скачи, как зайчик. Только желательно подальше, а то от тебя уже дерьмом несет. Фу!
Идите вы все нахер!
Oh, fuck. What happened? No, what are you doing? No, I don't want to quit. Continue. Where the hell did that come from? His eyes, red from tears, stopped on me. I didn't have time to erase the smile from her face when Simeon lunged at me like a hawk and clawed at my face with his twisted fingers with gnawed fingernails. I threw a kick toward the layer of fat under the coat. At the same moment, the world became fuzzy. The black trees and faces of my classmates all blurred.
А чё на это скажешь, сука?
He threw up a hand holding my glasses, victoriously, but his triumph was short-lived. Two blurry silhouettes rushed forward. Simeon's former friends. I heard the familiar sound of being someone slapped around. Oh my God, what is happening? Holy cow.
Не по-пацански
This is against
поступаешь,
the-
гнида.
Oh my God, they beat
А ну
his
гони
ass.
линзы назад!
Дерись по понятиям, на!
Judging from Simeon sighing and trembling,
Так.
he didn't agree to his friend's terms.
Вы чё творите? Ой, бля! На лоха позорного меня променяли! Ой, 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 ой! Да пошли вы в жопу! Тоже мне друзья!
A huge figure trembling in the snow barely managed to break out from the rains of punches and ran for the hills, dissolving into the twilight.
Завтра в школе тебя выцепим, хрюндель!
Точно, точно! За базар ответишь, на!
Горло тебе перережу, слышишь?
Rom-com Biyasha started throwing pieces of ice at the fleeing Simeon, but then switched to hurling mockery.
Свинья!
The snow rustled. Two boys, clear out of breath, approached me. I was finally able to make out their faces clearly.
Мои очки.
Блять,
Romka cursed under his breath.
гандон этот стащил.
Зато мы ему всыпали одну сына.
I gotta pee real quick. God damn it.
Завтра вот с таким фуфелом припрется, отвечаю.
Biyasha let out a throaty laugh. Hyenas in The Lion King would envy a laugh like that.
Ну и дела. Тоха, ты без очков хоть что-то видишь?
Немного.
A hand holding a red rectangle protruded from the mist. Romko was offering me a cigarette.
Угощайся.
I squinted, trying to make out the brand, even though I didn't know anything about cigarettes. I haven't tried smoking yet, and I didn't really want to start. I wonder if they'll keep hanging out with me if I won't adopt all of their habits. After a moment of hesitation, I shook my head.
Спортсмен, что ли? Ха.
А ты в глаза долбишься? Не видел, как он Семёна четко вмазал?
Да базара ноль, Mortal Kombat на. Тоха, у нас Рокки Бальбоа.
Тогда уж и Ван Драга. Курим одну на двоих, гони жигу.
Romka pulled out a cigarette with his lips, and Biyasha scrambled to find a lighter inside his pockets.
Тоха, что я сказать хотел? Не держи зла, брат. Мы тебя на вшивость проверяли. А то очки эти, еще и маска.
Yasha lit a giant Tbilisi, and Ranka smacked his lips while taking a long puff of his cigarette.
Меня, кстати, Ромка зовут.
He squeezed my hand so hard that my fingers hurt. His palms, full of dry, torn blisters, implied that he wasn't wearing a tracksuit for nothing.
Это вот Бяша. Ты не очкуй. Со свиньей мы лично пообщаемся.
Ага. Пойду пока сумку соберу, а то темнеет.
I bowed to pick up my now empty backpack and look for its contents, hoping that my new buddies would disappear when I turn around. But they just stood there, passing a cigarette back and forth. Two small silhouettes with a small light wandering between them, the pine trees as the backdrops. They were waiting for me to finish picking up my textbooks while whispering something to each other. Ramko was the one talking most of the time, though. Biasha was just constantly sniffing with his running nose and mumbling in agreement. At that moment, I saw that old battered bunny mask from paper mache among the snow-covered notebooks. Its empty eye sockets could be filled with any eyes, but this mask looked like it only wanted mine. That's a disgusting mask. Where did it come from and why was it in my backpack? I picked it up with utmost care as if it would bite off my finger at any moment. It was just a carnival mask with a huge frozen splat of saliva on the inside. Still, something felt wrong about it. Something was writhing inside it, underneath the crust of old newspapers. I could hear 1,000 tiny bodies rustle in the trembling fur. Something was trying to chew its way out. Maggots.
Готов, Тоха?
Ramka's voice pulled me out of my nightmarish delusion, and I threw the mask away in horror. Somewhere I won't be able to see it anymore. My innards were twisted from disgust, but I stood up, trying not to show it. Whether those maggots were real or just one of my delusions, I didn't care. All this was too much for a single day. I wanted to get home as soon as possible.
Ладно, пацаны, мне пора уже. До свидания.
I held out my hand toward the two silhouettes to say goodbye. A couple of dark, thin lines trembled in front of me. They stood without moving, as if studying me.
С кедрами закорешиться решил. Мы здесь, вообще-то.
I realized that Ramka's voice was coming from behind and turned around, embarrassed.
Деревья хреновые, кенты. Ты не ссы! Мы тебя до дома доведем, а то ты как слепой котенок. Так здесь живем и сгниешь.
The cigarette butt hit against a stump with a flurry of sparks and started sizzling in the snow near my feet. The boys let out a strained laugh and took me by the arms. When we were leaving the clearing, I turned around in hopes to see Alissa, or at least some orange dot. What if? But I only saw a rumbling tractor that was creeping out from the corner. That was a very surprising twist. Very surprising. I did not expect that. Like, especially when they jumped him because he took his glasses. They fucked him up. I wonder how the next day of school is going to be. We were going alongside a still fire road in silence. The silence felt depressing, coupled with my lack of vision, so I spoke.
А почему тебя Бяша зовут?
О,
The brave kid just smirked in reply.
потому что я волк в овечьей шкуре.
Брешешь. Пургу гнать — это он умеет. А звать его так, потому что блеет, как овца. Все после того, как из черного гаража живым выбрался.
Yasha's face contorted at those words. I could see it even through the veil of blindness. He swayed. He mumbled something unintelligible.
Видишь? С ним так всегда, как об этой херне заговоришь.
Ты сейчас о чем?
Ты серьезно про эту страшилку не знаешь?
Oh no,
На черной улице.
that's a scary moment.
В черной подворотне. стоит черный-причерный гараж. И он знает о тебе все. Где ты живешь, что любишь, с кем. Наверняка слышал о пропавших детях. Это тут не первый год происходит. Все местные знают, кто здесь замешан. Даже взрослые. Вообще, везет тебе? Ты вон в лесу, считай, живешь. Он к тебе так просто не сунется. Тупо сечет, что среди деревьев будет выделяться. А у нас эта хрень может где угодно поджидать. Иногда в конце переулка или возле дома. А еще идешь такой себе ночью, и тут раз! Он стоит, где совсем недавно пусто было. Дверь открыта, внутри мрак. И тут как?
Biasha pulled his cape over his head and started howling on a high, trembling note, trying to silence Ramka.
Ладно, ладно, проехали.
I was trying to process Ramka's story, but I couldn't figure out what to think of it. During the short time I've been in the snow-laden village, I realized one thing. A lot of people here had some sort of experience with something they couldn't explain. I looked at Biasha, who was pit-pattering to the side.
Тоха, а вот скажи, нахрена вы-то сюда переехали?
I heaved a deep sigh while looking at my feet. Somewhere down below, my boots were butting against the fog. I spoke words that I recited countless times.
У отца тут новая работа. И мама в поселке раньше жила. Давно еще при Союзе.
Здесь же нечего делать, только гнить. Ну или как Бяша, по лесам шастать.
Yasha fearfully showed his face from under his hood, like a snail crawling out of its shell, and then listened in.
Он у нас турист. Летом целую неделю в палатке жил. Здесь, рядом. Прикинь? Хотя от мамки его звезданутой я бы сам в лес сбежал.
We kept on going, but I felt like it was the forest sliding by. Pines were the black keys, and the space between them, the white ones. The thicket was playing its old creaky melody, the melody of roots, barricades, and forgotten taiga skits. Sketties or skits? Gotta look that up. The snowflakes created an exciting illusion. It felt like someone was wandering the forest. Somebody tall, unnoticeable, ready to camouflage as a tree or a snow pile. And then, when nobody's paying attention anymore, they'll just continue moving along the road. But it was just a trick of the light. There was no one there. At least, I wanted to think that. Ronka suddenly stopped and said,
Слышите? В лесу кто-то бродит по ходу.
The skin under my clothes started itching. My stomach started aching. We looked the way Ronka was pointing.
Высоченный, причем с нашей скоростью идет.
There was no tall silhouettes behind the mass of pines. Just shadows creeping in the semi-dark. Slow shadows. Fast shadows. Hungry shadows. The snow that fell silently from the branch made me shiver and bite into my lip. As if something huge lifted off the tree and flew away. Maybe even toward us. Ramka picked up a pine cone from the ground and threw it into the thicket.
Эй!
His shout ricocheted as if it hit a lightly sprang drum. The echo mocked Ramka. Then the silence reigned again.
Кто-нибудь видел?
I shook my head. The only things I could see were the vertical strokes of trees, the darkness, the snow, and hazy silhouettes of my companions. I remember the rough textured trunks, the spongy lichen? Oh God. And the icy bits on the bottoms of the ravines.
Пойдемте скорее, а то вечереет.
I was getting grabbed by the elbows and dragged along toward the forest, toward the pointy spires of branches. The sun had finally sunk behind the green peaks. The darkness writhed, spread its shoulders and started spreading like smoke. It started snowing. Thick, sticky flakes, white flies following the scent of dead meat. My vision had become a small island, awash by dark waters. Oh no, don't freeze. Do not crash. My morning nervousness was getting the grasp of me again. I felt that somewhere far away at the edge of my comprehension, I heard a very calm Messiah flute playing. The sound was fragile, like ice in March, above the dormant waters of a bottomless lake. I scraped it inside of my ear and my finger to get rid of that auditory hallucination. The forest was so silent. I imagined a child walking at night under the watchful eyes of pines.
А вы знали Вову Матюхина? Мальчика, который пропал недавно.
А разве мы не его ищем, сладкий?
I shuddered and stopped, staring at the person who was guiding me. At Alissa, in her unchanging fox mask. The girl was gently holding my elbow.
Что ты здесь? А ведь я тебя потерял.
Потерял, потому что зазевался.
I squinted in suspicion.
И давно ты за нами идешь?
Что значит давно? Я ж всегда была рядом. Да и за кем? За вами.
I was stunned. I looked around, but couldn't find Rama or Biasha. And then I felt her cold finger on my wrist.
Пойдем же. Мы собирались искать Вову.
Without a chance to catch my breath, what the fuck is happening? She started dragging me along through the forest. I was enveloped by the smell of tangerines, coffee, and firecrackers. I felt like I was a small kid again, being led into the unknown. I saw the dark silhouettes of trees ahead. The bushes, hedgehogs were wary, showing us their spikes. Something rectangular appeared in our way like a small box. I became petrified. I touched the edge of my eye, rolling back the eyelid as if I was trying to correct my vision. A garage made of metal rose upright from the windfall. It was big. No, huge. Impossible to move without special equipment. Its walls were painted black, the kind even blacker than darkness around us. The fox sniffed around it. Seemed like her mask twisted in disgust.
Это здесь.
The roared voice of my companion scared me even more than this horrifying metal box.
Здесь?
Я слышу его запах. Может, Вова играет с нами в прятки, и он решил спрятаться внутри?
I felt like I saw smoke form tentacles around the garage and stretch for something in the wilted tree leaves. These tentacles slithered along the snowy blanket, getting close to our feet. And there was a scary screeching sound coming from the other side of huge black metal gates. Somebody or something definitely waited for us inside. What the fuck? I can't escape? My nervous movements probably looked like that of a marionette, dangling in the hands of a puppeteer. I stepped toward the garage, holding my breath. And gave the sheet metal a small knock with my knuckles. And then jumped back. For a moment, it seemed like someone growled in pain inside the metal walls. I groaned. I heard rusty meat hooks jingle on thick metal chains, awakening someone huge who crawled to open the black gates. Nothing happened. Ooh, that is so creepy. My heart was racing. Nothing. I hesitated to turn my back to the garage, so I took a couple slow backs. Run. scared voice resound in my head. Stumbling all over the place, I still rushed to the night that was swarming with shadows. I ran behind the creepy pine tree, sure that Alissa was by my side. But after a minute, I realized that the girl was gone. The forest was mumbling its ancient chants, squeaking, ticking, rustling. I froze. I didn't know how much time had passed before I realized that I was standing in complete darkness, in a circle of trees that were shooting up their trunks high into the sky. The world around me moved and vibrated. My ears were plugged up from all the rustling. The treetops melted into the cosmic darkness. The bushes became cages, their hostages suddenly set free. I felt like a paw with giant claws could find its way out of the darkness and grabbed my stunned face at any moment. I heard a scream somewhere far away.
Anton!
Someone was looking for me, just like that boy who went missing. Tears stung my eyes. A heavy drop fell from my lashes.
Anton!
The scream was closer now, and for a moment, I even believed that I was about to be saved.
Я здесь!
One of the trees moved. It wasn't Ramka, nor was it Biasha. An adult, tall, with long arms. Many shadows that looked like dogs crawled behind it, but those beasts were much larger than Zolka. The forest door was dormant no longer. Its true face was revealed. I stood still, like a deer screwed by the lights of an incoming truck, and the beast all stared at me. In this semi-dark, without my glasses, I could see very little, but still more than enough for me to freeze in terror. A foul smell of animal piss and wet fur enveloped the clearing when the creepy procession with the giant at its head moved toward me. Oh, God! My legs gave way because of fear, and I fell to my knees into the snow. It looked like I was praying to that figure, to the trees, to the darkness. I didn't dare lift my eyes. So when he got close, showering me with his stench. For a moment, I thought that his legs were covered in gray fur. I shut my eyes so tight that red circles started dancing on the inside of my eyelids. I don't want to look, but I could still hear everything. His breath scratched against my ears like sandpaper. His voice was deep, hoarse. No, it wasn't a voice, a roar. I fished Grandma's chant out of my memory.
Мертвые к мертвым, живое к живому, мертвые к...
Ooh! I got his stench. Words could never protect against claws and fangs. I was helpless. And then I heard a familiar sweet voice nearby.
Ну же, скорей! Попробуй его на вкус!
Не надо!
Oh my God, I'm paralyzed just from watching this. Someone's tongue.
Я же говорила, хозяин! Это наш зайчик. Позаботься о нем.
From the narrow embarrassures of barely lifted eyelids, covered by my trembling fingers, I watched a horrifying silhouette tower over me. I was taking in the smell of kennels, compost pits, and moss. In front of me stood a scary horned beast with a royal presence to it. His posture told me of his awe-inspiring nobleness. His horns supported the clouds, and his popped out lacumas pierced my eyes that were ready to burst from fear with a thorny stare. His hands were full of gifts. Candy fell to the snow, sparkling with its fancy wrappers, silvery packs of chocolate bars, and chupa chups sticking out from a snow pile with its plastic stick. More candy fell at my feet. A toy gun knocked against the ice. Even though I was paralyzed by fear, I still remembered the missing boy. Vova had a gun exactly like this. A doll fell nearby, and then it started raining toys. A spinning top, a teddy bear with a torn up nose. red-headed Carlson without a propeller, a tin toy soldier with a flag, a firefighter truck, and a crop duster plane. The toys weren't covered in blood. My imagination was painting with red spots and crimson leaks all on its own. A horned shadow covered with the trees that once belonged to the missing kids. His hands reached into surrounding darkness, took out a mangy bunny mask that was haunting me. Oh, he stuck it on my face! He forcefully pulled it over my face.
Sight.
The shadows of beasts around us slowly and graciously stood up on their rear legs. And then light hit my face, shattering the monster's figure in two. I put up my hand to protect myself. What the hell is going on? Flashlight's ray slid down.
Антон! Вот ты где. Ты совсем сдурел? Это вообще как понимать?
I was staring at my dad, completely stunned, into the space where the monster was just a moment ago. The clearing was enveloped in darkness again, but I could still barely make out the outlines of toys and candy in the snow. I'm sure if I was brave enough to get close to the bushes, I'd find animal prints there.
Язык проглотил? Одноклассники твои к нам пришли. Сказали, ты сбежал от них в лес, в самую чащу и... Что это за дрянь ты напялил?
I pulled the mask down from my sweaty face and threw it into the heap of toys. Branches cracked in the distance. I pressed myself into my father's chest, engulfed by fear. He started looking around, alerted. I spoke in a tone of voice that was much more nervous.
Так, пойдем отсюда скорее. Мать узнает, такой нагоняй нам устроит, мало не покажется.
Your mom's not home. I reached out for my father, still feeling the chilling embrace of fear. I grabbed his firm hand, felt his quick pulse with my fingertips, then stood up and wobbled along behind my father, following his barely discernible footprints. Back to civilization, back to light, back to the road where my dad parked his car.
Чтобы дома ни слова, ясно? Ни единого намека, где я тебя нашел.
Да, пап.
What the hell, dude? That medic... Oh my god, he was holding my hands as if it was the most precious thing in the world and kept telling me how afraid he is of losing me or Olya. But this wasn't that sticky, like an animal tongue. Fear. His fear was noble, crystal clear diamond, and I just nodded in reply and kept moving my feet. Then I heard a familiar voice coming from behind me.
Помни, пока ты со мной, никто тебя здесь не тронет.
The car sped toward our house. I pressed my cheek against the window and saw a short building among the trees. That shack, darker than night. That garage that was hidden inside a thicket, a metal crypt. It almost felt like it was following us. A moment passed and the building disappeared around the corner. I gulped down something bitter. And the white snowflakes kept dancing in the starry sky.
А вот и мы.
Явились, не запылились.
Mom was going downstairs, pissing Dad with her trademark glare. Her face showed something between wrath and condensation? God. Suddenly her gaze shifted to me and stayed for a dangerously long time. Hey,
Так, я не поняла. Антон, а где очки?
Да в школе поди забыл, простофиля.
a venomous pause followed.
Весь в тебя.
Dad glared at Mom, then mischievously winked at me, reminding me of our deal.
Ну ничего, есть же запасные. Проживем как-нибудь.
My parents stood in silence a bit longer, and then both of them went to mind their own business. Oya threw herself into my arms as soon as I got home.
А я лису увидела!
Surprise akin to a shotgun blast. I could only flap my lips in reply. A cup shattered into many little pieces with a loud bang. My mom let it fall from her hands. Her face was pale and her eyes were glued to the ground. This pause, just a split second, felt like an eternity. Then my mom spoke with disappointment.
То сова, то лиса. Когда ж тебе надоест?
Правда, правда! Такая пушистая! Она у забора стояла на задних лапах, совсем как человек. Она меня позвала, а тут мама вышла, и лиса убежала.
Не было там никакой лисы. Не выдумывай.
Не подходи к ней.
If it was necessary, I was ready to shake my sister as if she was a doll made of cloth.
Ты чего, Тоша?
Не подходи, слышишь?
My mom entered the hallway and gave me a surprised look. I hesitated.
Ну, лиса ведь укусить может.
I remembered fairy tales where foxes used to kidnap children. I imagined my Alissa, liberated, carnivorous, running through the night forest with a dangling sack in her hands.
Это ж была не настоящая лиса. Расскажи ему, Оль.
Она на двух ногах ходила, а еще была в платье одета. Только она была взаправду.
Видишь?
Mom showed us a tired smile, as if it was the only explanation needed. I also forced myself to smile. My smile was like a thin piece of soap, right before it dissolves completely on your palm. When I was left alone with my sister, I lips whispered.
Еще раз увидишь ее, беги.
Thoughts of the forest beast bombarded me like a rain of candy and toys. There was a hairy silhouette standing in front of me, towering over the treetops. Who was he? What happened in the forest? What's happening to me? I shut my eyes and threw the vitamins in my mouth, washed them down with water. Please, stop driving me mad. Please. I barely managed to force myself to do homework, but those math problems just refused to be solved. Numbers in my notebook tumbled around and mixed in a whirling dance, sometimes running over the lines. My head became heavy from that pandemonium, and I almost dropped it into the chain of numbers. My eyelids felt like there were tiny weights tied to them, the type used in grocery stores. And then right at the moment, I surrendered to close my notebook. The memories of my day started flashing before my eyes. I was in the middle of the stuffy school corridor. I could see the literature classroom from here. The faces of dead classical writers on their portraits. The prim and regal pose of our homeroom teacher, Lilia Pavlovna. And around the corner was her daughter, Katya, a snitch and a gossip, eagerly waiting for me.
Эй, новенький, новенький.
Чего тебе, Кать?
She got on her tiptoes and started swaying, while hiding her hands behind her back, and then asked me with a fake smile on her face.
Скажи, пожалуйста, а чего это тебя к нам перевели, а?
I might have told the truth about this to Paulina, but Katya here will sell it on the market for 3 kopikas. It would be the same as printing all my thoughts and hanging them near Volva's picture for everyone to see. So I reverted to an answer I knew by heart.
Это все из-за моих родителей. У папы тут новая работа, а мама...
But Katya didn't even listen to me. Just rushed toward the perked up ears of her friends, whispered something like stealing glances at me, giggling.
Да-да, конечно, конечно. У нас тут совсем за дурачков держит. Я вот слыхала, что это все из-за его отца.
Он недавно кому-то крутому дорогу перешел, и теперь они всей своей семейкой в нашем захолустье скрываются.
Неправда! Ты все врешь!
Jesus, I hate this chick. I don't understand why people choose to be the person like this. It's just trash.
А слышали, как он бабулина просто так стукнул? Это каким надо быть уродом, чтобы в первый же день так над одноклассником измываться?
Прекрати! Ты же знаешь, он первый начал!
И будто этого мало. Ходят слухи, что он спутался с ворюгами из шайки Ромки Пятифана. Ой, девочки, сумки проверяйте. Того и гляди, в гардеробе вещи начнут пропадать. Будем знать, это Петров с дружками постарался. Да-да-да.
Замолчи! Заткнись!
Вон как раскричался-то, будто ужаленный. А зрачки-то, зрачки какие широкие. Опять чего доброго с катушек слетит и руки распускать начнет. Не зря же его мать с таблетками пичкает.
Ooh. I just stood there in confusion, trying to in vain to understand how she was able to find out about my medicine. And what scared me even more was the possibility of a horrifying truth hiding among her chatter.
Да-да. Он такой же ненормальный, как и его сестрица. Представляете, к этой сумасшедшей дурочке каждую ночь прилетает сова ростом с человека. Да-да. Только что-то ее никто из здоровых людей не видел. А этот наивный простак ей верит. Нет, ну вы представляете?
Jesus Christ, like, this dude's imagination runs wild. Like, I'm getting hints of a movie, but I can't remember what it was. Because I know the actor in that movie suffered from delusions. And he was, like, really, really intelligent. He was, like, a college professor. But I can't remember the name of the movie. God damn it. Anyway. And then I caught a single kind look from the smirking crowd.
Это правда, Антон? Неужели действительно тебе не здоровится?
Полина, послушай меня!
Как же? Не слушай этого болтуна, Полиночка. Ты еще не знаешь. Он тебя на другую променял. Не из нашей школы. На Алису.
Polina slouched as if someone kicked her in the stomach, and then burst out in tears and fell to the dirty floor, wailing and screaming.
Нет! Почему она, Антон? Почему?
I couldn't understand her reaction, but I still rushed to Paulina's side before being shoved violently by Katya.
Убери от нее свои лапы, чудовище!
Rage was building up under the veil of my fear. It slowly rose from the cloudy mist. I felt my upper lip creep up, showing my teeth.
То, что твой отец бьет мать, еще не дает тебе права поднимать руку на девушку!
Jesus Christ. My fists became hammers. I couldn't unclench them. Nobody can speak about my family like that. I came to my senses when I already lunged at the angry Katya.
Слетел-таки! Слетел! Спасите! Помогите! Петров с катушек слетел!
What a disgusting individual. At the same moment, the crowd around her became louder. I started whistling and roaring. The slender silhouettes of students became larger and wider. They shot upward toward the ceiling, turned into a giant black forest, chock full of toothy faces. I shrank to a tiny ball of fur and started shaking in fear before the might of also ridden chunks that belonged to either trees or humans. It was impossible to tell.
Вот ты и показал свое животное нутро! Трус!
Katya's face was twisted by jubilation and ecstasy.
Антон! Почему она? Нет! Чем она лучше меня?
Elena screamed while choking on her tears.
Он! Животное! Чужак!
A scary flapping of wings came from the forest. Two giant white ears descended from somewhere above, and I dug myself into them.
Антон! Антон!
Пожалуйста, вставай!
I jumped up, almost falling out of the bed. Apparently, I was thrashing around for hours in the sweat-soaked sheets. Oya's scream pulled me out, set me free from the tentacles of fear.
Антон! Пожалуйста! Вставай! Вставай!
It took my eyes a while to focus on the silhouette near the window. Oya's voice was distant. My head was still ringing after the fight. Sounds got distorted, as if my ears were stuffed with cotton. My sister, as distressed as ever, just kept on repeating the same phrase.
Сова! Сова! Пожалуйста! Я боюсь!
Her tears poured on my heart like boiling water, but I was almost thankful for the owl's appearance. Otherwise, this scared Oya wouldn't have woken me up.
Оля, я сейчас. Хочешь, я тебе Мурзилку почитаю? Подожди.
I placed my bare heels on the cold floor, felt around for my glasses, remembered his mean actions, and sighed.
Антон! Пожалуйста! Пожалуйста! Посмотри!
She couldn't tear her eyes off the window, as if it was a staring contest. I found the light switch in my hand. The lamp poured bright light all over me. Got up from the bed. My vision fooled me, moving the window closer only to push it farther the next moment. My sister was just a blurry spot. I made a careful step forward. Oh, he's still dreaming.
Оль, что там? Что-то случилось? Ты хочешь, чтобы я открыл шторы?
Нет, не надо! Там же сова!
The voice was coming from behind. I turned around and froze from terror. Teary-eyed Oya stood in the doorway.
С кем ты разговаривал, братик?
She stared at me with eyes that were red from crying, with her hands wrapped around her shoulders. Her voice was nervous, as she was afraid to hear my answer.
Я разговаривал с тобой, с тем, кто притворился тобой.
The ledge outside my window creaked ominously, as if something huge was sitting on top of it. And the thing that pretended to be Oya started spreading, changing shape, grow to scary heights under the light of a carnivorous moon.
Антон, пожалуйста, подойди ко мне, подойди.
The voice didn't belong to my sister anymore. The thing that was hiding behind my curtains got tired of pretending, making me look like a fool. I pinched myself as hard as I could, hoping that silhouette near the window was just a continuation of my nightmare, a hallucination brought upon by the cursed house and those that bite. Do they? The silhouette was towering before me under the veil of mist. I heard Oya's shrill scream when someone just had knocked on the window.
Она пришла за нами!
Another knock. I stepped back into the middle of the room, as if there existed hooks where I could hide from this horror. The sound was sharp, metallic. The lamp started shimmering. Then it suddenly lighted the hole and went out, like a candle in a strong wind. The filament inside it snapped with a ringing sound. Oh no. The darkness that was waiting for that exact moment poured from all the angles and enveloped me. There was only the shadow left in the whole universe. The moonlight fell through it, painting everything the color of bones that were exhumed from a crypt. Oya started squealing and pressed herself into my back, seeking protection. Then an eye, burning with a carnivorous fire, stared at us from the window. No, it wasn't trying to break the window. It was toying with us. It just kept on knocking, driving us mad. As if a giant clock was measuring the time we had left, and its pendulum was swinging above the abyss.
Уходи! Убирайся! Пошла прочь!
She was screaming in desperation, her hands clutching my arm like a pair of pincers.
Антон, Антон, подойди.
I could barely make out a pair of wings that spread out above the black spot.
Скажи ей, Антон! Скажи, что я больше не буду себя плохо вести! Никогда! Только пусть она уйдет! Пожалуйста!
The moonlight suddenly disappeared and the room descended into darkness. We couldn't see the burning eye anymore. I swallowed the stingy lump that was stuck in my throat. I stepped toward the darkness, entranced by the call of this disfigured guest.
Не буду, не буду, не буду, не буду!
The bleak window was creeping closer. Curtains rustled. I reached out to move the curtain aside so I could look my fear in the eye. At that moment, I heard noise coming from our parents' bedroom. Without thinking, I pulled the curtain to the side in one swing. Nothing. Though, there was something shining on the ledge, among the scattered feathers. My glasses. The ones that Simeon took from me. How'd they get there? Was that a gift from the gurgling night? Did that owl really bring them here? I looked at the front yard, at the foreboding clearing, at the toothy forest. Not a soul. Not even a hint of our late guest. But there's claw marks and feathers in the freaking windowsill, dude. Only the lamppost, dreaming like a lone watchman among the snowy desert. The dry window frame creaked. I tore away that insulating tape and the slips of glued newspapers. I barely managed to open the window. Frost stung me with his little needles. The paintings on my walls moved from the draft. I touched my glasses, sure they would melt in my hands, but they were real. My brain was scrambling for an explanation. Simeon and his gang just pulled a prank on me. That was it. And a smooth white blanket was glittering under the street lamp just outside our yard. If anybody was to get close to the house, to climb the pipe to the ledge of my window, they would surely leave footprints. But there were none. I cautiously took my glasses. My wrist was still intact. Nobody pulled me into the darkness, full of restless writhing.
Вы почему не спите?
I swayed from surprise and almost fell out the window.
Совсем сдурели? Жарко, что ли? Не болели давно?
Там сова была! Тоша ее прогнал!
А ну-ка марш спать к себе в комнату! А с тобой...
Mom paused, directing her seething eyes at me. She was thinking of a punishment equivalent to my mistake. In the end, she just waved her hand, took Oya by the shoulder, and left, leaving me with her last grim words.
Завтра поговорим.
I managed to get the frame back in place with a couple of hits, pressed in the latches with all the strength my fingers could muster. The cold left the room, but the fear was still present. I placed my glasses on my nose and started studying my reflection in the window. It didn't look like a face, more like a death mask. The boy from the had it too. That night, I was on the edge of joining him there. A black and white face was staring at me through the clearing between student heads. And it wasn't Foba. His face was right beside it. I recognized the fat cheeks, the damaged skin. Simeon. Baboon's photo was printed out under the glass, like an exhibition piece. Oh man. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was so good. God damn it. That's episode 2. I thought I could keep going. Oh my god, it was really, really good. Jesus. So something happened to that kid when he ran off from his friends. Something's going on. I can't explain it. Like, oh my god, dude. I don't know if it's the madness in the family, if it's a wickedly evil spiritual thing, or a serial killer now, because I'm just like, oh my god, dude. Or it's all three. That's crazy. He got snatched up the moment he left his friends, and how his glasses appeared on the windowsill must have had something to do with it. I cannot explain it, but holy shit. Oh my god, this is so good. This is really, really good. Good job. Good job. Good job. Oh my god. I couldn't save. I couldn't save. But that is a wrap. And I hope you guys truly enjoyed this. I have. And like, I'm not gonna lie, the hairs all over my body stood up on end. I felt all the hairs on my back stood up because I was like, holy shit, what is going on? But anyways, I hope if you like this and you want to see more, I'll keep putting out content, and I'll continue working on Death Mark. And I just am in awe of this storytelling. This is great. This is really, really good. I'm sitting in a closed room with daylight pouring through my window, and I'm still terrified. It's just that dread, like it just plays out, and like you're just stuck in the psychology of this kid, and it just like, holy cow. Like, he is young, dude. Oh my god, and his sister. And I'm thinking, like, whatever's going on, his sister has it too. Like, he saw her. He knows for a fact that she has seen the fox, or Alissa the fox, and she was beckoning her Olya to go into the forest with her. Oh my god. So that's 2 victims now, and he's not even any closer to solving it. So I don't want to ruin anything, but I may pick the choice where he goes with Paulina instead of just going by himself. But like, I don't know if he goes with Paulina, that's a cautious choice. And then choosing to follow Alissa was more an adventurous yet dangerous choice, because he got mad respect. I made the choice to fight that dude, because nobody wants to fucking be treated like that, ever. You should always fight. You should always fight if you know you're being treated wrongly. And instead turned it back on him, which I really enjoyed. And like, he got even more mad, and that earned respect from the rest of the guys, and they like legit, like it was legit. Like, I was like, okay, I still want you guys to leave me alone because you guys treat me like dog shit, but at the same time, you know, like, yeah, that was really, really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this. But anyway, I'm gonna go eat. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like this and you want to see more, hit like and subscribe. I'm still waiting for all the movers to move all my stuff over to my place, and then I can really start bringing more content to you guys. And I'll be purchasing more equipment for you all and playing more games. Cause I do want to do an entire run through of Resident Evil and just create the events in sequential order. So I'll be playing through all of it and editing it through in a way where it's just like, oh, okay, this is how it's going to go. Because now I have an idea of how the events in Raccoon City played out, and I'll do it that way. Also, once I get my stuff, I'll play a demo of Resident Evil, and then I want to go through all of Metal Gear Solid, like the entirety. I haven't even played like the old ones, so I'll be playing that one for you guys. Like the older ones, like Metal Gear 1 and 2. So that's going to be included in that, but I'll be doing it in sequential order. So yeah, there's a lot of games going on, and then sometime down the road I'll be picking back up with sim racing and other games as well, just to finish all those out. But anyway, if you like, subscribe, and you want to see more, hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.